Watching as your eyes stare into the deep blue sky, I feel my heart skip a beat when you move. You always know the right thing to say, your feelings hidden far away. Breathe a little sigh, hold it deep inside. Hiding in the light, you always seem so sure and strong, but we were wrong.
Here we are, Red Leaf Retrocast, 188 episodes, almost at 200, Hickey.
Damn. What are you gonna do for 200?
We're-
Can we just sit down and just drink and talk? No
That-
anime for 200. It's just us blabbling about life.
Is
That's
that
always
not
so
what we
cool.
kind of do anyways? It's just babble along,
Yeah,
and
but
we
like-
happen to have also watched an anime?
It's like 3 hours of just drinking and talking.
Yeah, reminiscing over all the previous episodes, but look,
Oh, that would be nice.
yeah, that might
With
not
some
be a bad
premium
idea.
whiskey.
I was looking at our document here over what we have planned, and you were telling me Tori's going to come back a couple episodes from now. That'll be pretty cool. We got GTO in the works for the next episode, Higurashi. We've been talking about watching Bakemonogatari forever. I really like our slate of anime that we have lined up here for the coming months.
They look nice. It's a good list. Even though like GTO, we need to figure out how many episodes we're gonna watch because I think it's like 59 episodes.
No, I think it's 50 even.
See, I think I can do 50 in 2 weeks. It's not a problem.
I mean, I've already seen it, so it'd be me just kind of picking my favorite episodes and rewatching them. That's how I'm gonna approach
Oh,
that.
yeah. I've also like watched everything, but I like rewatching everything full.
Oh yeah, like when we
Or
get to
those things I watched
Higurashi,
it
I'm
when I
gonna
was-
rewatch that because I haven't seen that since like 2013. So I don't remember much other than certain scenes and aspects.
Many
Oh.
of those shows I watched when I was in my teens. So like it's nice to rewatch everything and get a fresh view.
You
over-
say teens. It was like I was in my 20s, so
Yeah. So yeah, you know.
little different. Okay. Well, today we're reviewing an anime called Suzuka, which was my pick for this one because I've been on the romance kick over the last 8 months or so. And
Yeah.
when we talk about them, this one I think fell into that category pretty well.
Yep.
You know, we
Yeah,
we
there's gonna be a
watched
rant. There's gonna be many rants on Suzuka. Suzuka is the anime of rants.
your initial impression, like directly compared to Lovely Complex, because that's what we have, and I won't compare it to Wreck, because that's certainly a different animal. But compared to Lovely Complex, what'd you think just initially? What are your initial thoughts comparing the two?
Man, it's that is a hard question. Okay, let me think. I said in Lovely Complex that Lovely Complex is a good anime, but it's not for me.
Okay,
Suzuka, I think it's Suzuki is more developed and deep than Lovely Complex. If
I
Lovely
would agree with
Complex is a
that.
stasis, it's a stasis, it doesn't change, and you get angry because things are not evolving. Suzuka changes a lot.
Yeah, like a lot of my criticisms and complaints over Lovely Complex, I think Suzuka handled all of those things way better. And the major aspect where Lovely Complex faltered was kind of the challenge aspect. The how did we phrase it? The challenge. Yeah, the challenge of some sort of plot point that encourages the characters to take the next step. It was a Lovely Complex was very not about that the whole time. While Suzuka, I think, handled it so much better.
Yes.
Okay.
But but Suzuka, I'm gonna wait until the time to
Oh,
talk
okay.
about
He's
Suzuka.
feeling ranty.
I do think Lovely Complex is a better love story than Suzuka, but Suzuka is a
Oh,
better drama
interesting.
than
Okay, I'll hold
Lovely
you to that.
Complex.
I will. Yeah, I will hold you to that opinion for a bit here.
Yeah, I think because Lovely Complex is, yeah, it's a stasis. It doesn't change much, so it's simple. You can appreciate the love of it. Suzuka, it's the drama, it's the sadness, it's the confusion, it's the ever changing situation of the teenage years of our lives. You cannot really appreciate the love because the love is convoluted, it's strange and confusing. So, and in effect, it's more realistic. But if realism, if romance was realistic, we wouldn't have a full category of literature uh, movement called the Romanticism, where everything was ideal and elevated. And in Brazil, we had the ultra romanticism, which involved necrophilia and cannibalism. It was some weird shit. Like it was some weird shit here in that
The
time in
only
the
way I can love
1800s.
you if I have you inside me.
Dude, you don't understand. Like going through late years of middle school and you go like through first phase of romanticism, then the second phase of romanticism, which is Europe and I guess the United States kind of have the same kind of deal.
Okay.
Then Brazil has the ultra romanticism where the dude straight up invades a church where they like, you know, veiling the body of like this woman that died, like a young woman, very pretty. He defiled the body, and it's like super romantic how they describe the thing. Actually, the woman was alive. She just had like that disease that make people think you're dead,
Oh. Ugh.
and she woke up from the disease in the middle of the act, got so shocked that she died as the dude climaxed.
Oh my god.
And so like since she died of the shock and like the dude just goes away, just like, and like there's like this other romance about like the dude talking about how much he loves like the woman he likes, and like all this thing like his beloved, like his girlfriend. The woman died of natural causes, and he buried her under his bed. But the poem never says that. It's just implied that that was the thing. I don't know what people were
You see, that's how
smoking in Brazil
ghosts
at
are
that time.
made and houses become haunted. Shit like that.
Yeah, like I don't know why. I don't know what they were smoking in Brazil at that time, but we have like that third romanticism, which I think it's only here for some reason. You don't hear about ultra romanticism. That like an impulse to kill your beloved one, or loving evening death, or stuff like that. Uh, but that's a thing for another time. That's for episode 200. But yeah, I think that those are like my preliminary thoughts on Lovely Complex and Suzuka. We still need a ultra romanticism anime, but I don't
Well,
think it's
isn't
gonna
that what
happen.
Higurashi sort of is?
Eh,
It
if
could
you
be.
squint your eyes really hard, maybe.
Yeah. All right. So I figured today we could do some spring anime impressions because there's a few from this season. I think it's certainly a weak spring season. However, I think there's something worth talking about with a few of these anime that's hit the waves My brother, when I visited my brother last week in California, we were talking.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw the pictures.
Or at least you saw the golf pictures, right?
Like, yeah.
Yeah. That was fun. It was very fun to play golf out there in California. He did well. I did super well. Uh, maybe that gave me too much confidence.
It's really impressive how your family is so spread around around the United States.
I mean, there was a point where I was in Germany, my brother was in Australia, parents still in Texas. Like half of us were outside the United States, and none of us are in the same state. So we don't get to see each other all too often. So it was nice seeing my mom and my brother for the first time in 6 years. Got to meet the estranged family, if you will, the new ones. Um, but we were watching some anime from this season. We were talking a lot about webtoons. I got my brother on the manhwa kick, so that's kind of fun. He is obsessed with Omniscient Reader. He loves that thing. So, couple 30-year-olds just kind of bonding over South Korea stuff. Nothing wrong with that, right, Hickey?
No, no. It's always good to bond with your family.
Nice jokey
Although,
stuff.
like the thing that bonds you after 6 years is shitty manhwa. It might be
How
questionable, but like
dare
it's your
you?
family. It's your family. You know them better than me.
Look, we played
I'll
sports. I got to
judge
see
you
where he
anyway.
works. He works with a lot of just machines and huge. He bought like this heavy industrial bobcat, and
Oh,
my
the big
mom's like,
type.
"Can I ride it?" He's like, "Yeah, okay." Gave her a big lesson, and my mom was doing like heavy machine labor for like 10 minutes. It was funny.
Talking about bonding with your family,
Uh huh.
I've just realized my brother broke the AC
And you're
in his
bonding over
house.
that?
Oh, someone is gonna bond over that. That's for sure.
How did he break it?
You know the tab to open the compartment for the batteries?
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Apologies, but in the middle of Hickey's AC issue there, OBS had crashed, and we lost our entire season impressions. Hickey has a couple things that he recorded on his own, going over a few shows, so I will slide those in here in my impressions here. I'm pretty much just going to go down and run down exactly what I said in a more kind of Cliff Notes version, because it is impressions and we got into a lot more sidetracking and details prior. So I'm just going to kind of go through the My Anime List top shows of the season based on members here and go down what I'm currently watching along with my initial impressions over what Hickey had recommended for a couple shows. I did watch one of them out of the three. I'm very much looking forward to watching Gundam, the alternate timeline Gundam show, which I had no idea was actually a thing. I just kind of gloss over any sort of modern Gundams recently. I still need to watch. I think it's like Gundam Witches something or another. It came out a few years ago. I've seen the first episode of that, and I enjoyed what I saw. And then the romance show, Kowloon Generic Romance. I got it in the queue. I'm going to be watching that as well. Okay. So Fire Force is the number one show of the season. A lot of people seem to like it. I was in California with my brother. We both enjoyed the first two seasons, and then we kind of both had the same opinion where how the third season has started and kind of upped the ante on this anti-church group thing, kind of coercing the government of the Fire Force to be on their side, and our main Fire Force squad here is now on the run, so to say, to try to save. I didn't like this beginning. I think it kind of came out of left field there. I don't like how they reintroduced a lot of the characters. Uh, it just didn't grab me, and things are just progressing in this very bizarre way. I'm not into it, and my brother was so not into it that he's just not even going to watch the show now. So that's how off-putting it was for him and myself. I'm still going to watch the show. I hope I kind of get into a groove with it because I do like what Fire Force is. Unique shonen show, but it's really thrown me for a loop on how this third season has started. Lazarus, Hickey actually had the opposite opinion of me, where I thought this show had an extremely strong start with kind of the mad scientist explanation, very Sword Art Online-esque, with everyone's kind of trapped in his pilled world, and unless they figure out how to find him and get to him, we got a ragtag team together. Our first episode was very flashy and a lot of action with the parkour of our supposed now new Spike-esque character, because this is Cowboy Bebop creator through and through. While Hickey, if I remember correctly, he was saying something along the lines of it was just too flashy and not enough depth explanation to what we're going to be seeing, and the character of Spike was very aloof, and the characters were just better in Cowboy Bebop, especially to start really establishing what we're doing, and I can kind of see where he's coming from there. I initially was going to say Lazarus was easily the best show of the season, but then I watched one of the shows that Hickey recommended based on his explanation, and I kind of have that as number one now over Lazarus, which is pretty shocking to me. A bad show is the what is it? The World After the End. Is that the English title? It is no, The Beginning After the End. The World After the End is a manhwa I'm currently reading along with my brother. But The Beginning After the End has a very disjointed start. The first 3 episodes make no sense of being kind of connected to each other in any way. It is like this benevolent king that has a mysterious death. He gets reincarnated into a newborn baby, and then it immediately goes through his progression till he's like 4 or something, and he has all these magical powers that he develops, and then bam, in episode 2, he's in a cave getting trained by this like unicorn dragon creature, and then number 3 is bam, he's in the forest, and he's just walking around a forest with an elf girl he saved. Okay, everything's kind of 1, 2, 3 about it all, and it really throws me off that this main character has this like 40-year-old male voice on everything as well. It's just not well put together currently at all. I'm still going to watch this, but right now I think it's one of the worst shows I'm watching this season. Witch Watch is quirky comedy funny. I can't say there's a whole lot of depth to it now. It's very haha shtick heavy, which is fine. It's kind of what I more or less wanted out of the show. I'm just wondering what direction we're going to go. Is it just going to be like a reverse harem thing, or is it going to be an actual comedy with slight love interest type stuff? Hickey talked a lot about generic romance, so I'll kind of slew that in at the end here. I still need to watch that. Can a Boy and Girl Survive as Friends is a show I'm deeply into. I love the different take on a love triangle mechanic where our blue-haired main character, she's very bubbly, name's Hamari, with our guy who has the unique hobby of the kind of charm making deal, jewelry accessories deal, and they've been best friends for a while, and then this girl comes in and wants to be with him, and that really throws Himari for a loop, really convinced that he's gonna be all hers. Let's see, how do I phrase this? She's gonna have him all to herself without any conflict, and I thought they developed the conflict very uniquely. And how episode 3 ends is she finally gets put in a position where, despite her efforts of kind of setting these two up and thinking that it just wasn't going to happen, when it finally does happen, more or less, just with like the whole modeling thing for the jewelry accessories. She kind of freaks out, and I have watched episode 4 since um, that moment, and I'm kind of torn on if that was executed well or not, with how these two managed to overcome this kind of rift in their relationship. Uh, really looking forward to watching more of the show. It's one of my favorites of the season. I don't think it's one of the best yet, but we shall move on to Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman, or whatever the show's called. Old Man is a Master Swordsman, and he shows everyone how great he is, and it's very good. I just love the fact that this guy is very humble. He never thinks he's all that great, and yet time and time again throughout every episode, he proves how just smart and just battle savvy he is. Even though he doesn't have the most power to him, he's just very good at what he does, and he trains all of his students to be like that battle savvy and smart about everything, and then his students are very powerful. Again, watched the 4th episode since last recording, and it doesn't disappoint. Again, this is one of my favorite shows of the season, and I think it's a top 3, kind of sitting currently behind Lazarus and the next show I'm going to talk about, which is Kijin Gentoshu. This is what Hickey highly hyped, and you'll get his full explanation at the end of me babbling on. The first episode is an hour long, purely set up for what the rest of the show is going to be. And I won't talk as much as Hickey will about it. I just got to say I agree with him. This is my number 1 show of the season. I just love how everything was set up, executed so well for a climax, and it's the complete motivation of what the rest of the show is going to be. And after watching the next few episodes, I'm highly looking forward to it. The main character is like, you immediately feel bad for the guy, how just his world comes crashing down multiple times over, no matter what he does and sacrifices. And it's super interesting with how he became a demon, more or less, and what he has to do to strive to kind of live through his struggles and what his goals actually are. And he doesn't talk a whole hell of a lot, but it's enough for you to kind of get his character across and what the plot is. Please put them on. Takamine-san is ecchi trash, simple, gonna watch it, whatever. Healer's Magic is number 1. Whatever. What is the actual English title? I keep glossing over that. The Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows. There's nothing to the show at all. It's just a nonchalant, overpowered healer character that has essentially a harem around him, and not a lot of depth to a lot of this at all. It's not worth kind of discussing. Second worst show of the season I'm watching, probably. The Shiunji Family is a simple, family-ridden show. I do like how the first episode ends with the father gathering all of the family together for the youngest one's birthday, and then goes, "Okay, I made a promise to your dead mother that you're all adopted. Have fun with that." And there's like 8 of them, and they're like, "Hold on, what?" And what's throwing me off is, I think the execution of these characters now not looking at themselves as siblings is too quick. There's a lot of dialogue in them saying that they can't just turn it off, but then there's instances immediately where they all just turn it off, or a good chunk of them, and that kind of gets docked points to me in the show. There is a moment in episode, I think it's 3 or 4, where the oldest one is hanging out with our main character boy, and he does something very chivalrous and says something at the right place at the right time and kind of makes her smitten, or at least they show it that way. We need more moments like that where it truly convinces the other characters, where it's like, okay, we're not related, we can look at each other this way, and they kind of ruin that with like the very next scene with another character. It's I'll see how it plays out, but I'm not overly confident in where the direction this show is going to go in my taste and flavors. Atelier Meister is funny. Nothing special or in depth, just a funny, simple show. It's bare bones, like 5, 6 out of 10 territory from the start, but enjoyable nonetheless. Uh, then there's this show called I'm the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire. The first episode is absurdly depressing, all for it to get to this kind of comedy type show. So what I mean is we have this like mid-30s father with a nice wife and a child, and it really sets it all well where he works his ass off. He gets no respect at work. Everyone is basically a dick to him. And he's like, oh man, good thing I have my family and loving daughter and I can spend time with them. Otherwise, life would be very shit. And it all leads into his wife is cheating on him with his boss, in which they set him up to be fired and humiliated. And his own daughter says she likes the other daddy more, and it's like, oh my god. And if that wasn't bad enough, he gets like a disease and dies alone in an apartment. All like this is all in the initial episode. So then we get this like dream demon guy who feeds off negative energy, and he's like, okay, sign this contract and you'll be reincarnated into this other world kind of deal. And it's more or less set up for him to be betrayed again, and that was the dream demons thing. But he has this whole thing where it's like, I will live for myself this time. And it goes into this like weird comedy situation where he's clearly being shown to be very overpowered, but it's through a lot of training. It's very strange. I find it comical, but that first episode was just so highly depressing and off-putting that it doesn't match the tone of the show we're going to get and are getting currently. It's very strange. And let's see, I'm pretty sure I'm watching a couple more here. Let's see. Gundam show I'm gonna watch, and then there's the Two Perfect Saint. She gets basically her family hates her, the town hates her, the prince betrays her and sells her off to a kingdom, and then she's like highly revered in this new kingdom and has a good life. I like some dynamics. I kind of like the background of her sister, who did love her or does love her, now wants revenge on her own family and the prince. I'm more interested in to see where that goes than our main character being this all-powerful saint. Middle of the road so far. We'll see where it goes from there. And then there's I don't believe Hickey and I talked a whole hell of a lot about Your Forma, but I liked how the detective elements started. Hickey was saying things along the line of it felt like we were missing an episode or two in between each episode, which, boy, can relate to some other shows that I'm watching, just like the beginning after the end. I don't think it's executed as poorly as beginning after the end. Your Forma isn't as detail-oriented as Ghost in the Shell, nor in the world itself. I hope it'll expand on that. Hickey assures me that the next few episodes kind of helps in that regard. This is one of my upper tier shows of the season right now, and I'm hoping it gets even better. Otherwise, I could see it falling. A Gorilla God Girl is very funny, wholesome fun. Best way to describe that. And I believe that covers it. So I got to talk about Anne Shirley, the remake remaster show. We reviewed that the original from the 70s eons ago at this point, and that show is like 50 episodes and only covers a book and a half, while this remaster is going to cover all 3 books and 24 episodes. Where I believe I'm okay with this is the fact that the pacing of the old show was very, very slow, and I could see them just cutting out all those slow elements and kind of going through the story a lot quicker at a better pace. In fact, the only fault I could see is with certain like key moments of the show, the snow in scene at the school. I could see just being glossed over as this like 2 to 3 minute thing, as opposed to half an episode, a full episode, kind of childhood important experience. But hey, the good news is you always still have the original. It holds up to this day, where I could see myself kind of just popping in at like episode 9 or 10 at the point where that original show ends, and then me uh, truly going into the show at that point. Um, Still looks very good. I like the animation. I think they're doing a good job with it. And that kind of covers my impressions of the 2025 season. We'll cut to Hickey talking about a couple of his shows, and then we'll move on to our review.
It's actually very good. I wasn't expecting much from it. That's why I think it's good, most likely. The style is very different to begin with. Very adult themes, and it's sci-fi. It's a good sci-fi. I won't say why the sci-fi is good because spoilers. It's on Kowloon, the Hong Kong city. There was like this piece of place that didn't have any rules and didn't belong to anyone. It doesn't exist anymore. So they recreated the city in the future, and it's where people strive to live like we live today. But it's like in the year 2300 and something, right? And like they want to end the city, kind of the same thing that happened to us. But the one thing that is not listed here is mystery. This is a mystery show because like this woman, like the main character, Reiko, she in the first episode, she's part of a real estate agency with a guy named Hajime. And like they are always going to restaurants, and like he recommends her restaurants and like going around the city and how to make their tenants choose the best apartment and why not. And then, you know, as like he's sleeping in the couch, she goes and tries to prank him and kind of nag him, and then he just wakes, kind of half wakes up and kisses her, and like she's completely shocked by it. And then the dude wakes up and is like, "Oh man, it's already time," and just leaves and never talks about it again. Then she goes to a restaurant um, that they went before, and with a barista and why not. And she was like, "This place feels so familiar, feels so home here." And the barista, the clerk goes like, "Yeah, of course, you came here before. Like here's a photograph of you in this restaurant." And she's like, "What the fuck? I don't have memories of this. What is happening?" And thus, like you develop the sci-fi romance mystery of this story, and her discovering why there is like a woman in a picture that looks exactly like her, and why like she remembers many of those places she never was before. Uh, so yeah, I think it's a very quite decent anime. Quite interesting. I wasn't expecting it to be as intriguing as it is. So I'm having fun with it. I think it's a good lunch anime, and I just put it in, not paying too much attention because again the mystery is not like you need to sit down and write down whatever the fuck is happening because it's not the point. The point is the sci-fi and the romance. So the show kind of, you know, gonna slap you in the face from time to time like here, here's the answer for that question. You don't need to think about it. This is not a mystery show. The next one, I'm watching Gijin Gentosho. It's really good. I've read the manga. That's why I'm watching it, and I think you would enjoy it. It's essentially like there's like this village in the mountains, um, and there's a temple there. It's a very important temple with a shrine maiden that is kind of the oracle and the speakers of the god. And the main character is a swordsman that was trained like by this extremely good sensei, and like he's the only disciple, and why not? So he's working there as the bodyguard, and he loves the shrine maiden. But the shrine maiden, like they cannot be together because the shrine maiden needs to be engaged with this other guy, like the samurai uh, son, right? Because of tradition and because it's because of a prophecy and why not. This world also has demons, and every demon is related to something, being grudge, being memories of people, uh, being urban legends, and why not. So he's basically there to protect them from other humans and from those demons. And there's like this uh, katana they have that passes through the family of like the samurai son, which is the demon killer katana, or something along those lines, right? And the demons don't really die; they just become vapor and wait the next strong emotion to latch on and revive. But he saves a half demon girl, and like she's very naive, she's very happy, she believes in the love of the main character with the shrine maiden. And then the of course the shrine is attacked by the demons. Main character, he fights a demon, right? And I think the demon has something to do with curiosity and why not. So like he's attacking it because he was convinced and like he's super powerful, but he's not really in the cause of the prophecy of ending the world. Like he doesn't really care that much. He fights the dude, cuts his arm off, but gets defeated. And so he's like, I want to see, when faced with the ultimate desperation, what this guy that defeated me is gonna do. So he becomes the right hand of the samurai and turns the main character into a demon himself. But he stays like human, right? He goes to the. Meanwhile, another demon takes the half demon girl and shows her a vision of the shrine maiden having sex with the samurai guy, or not having sex, but like her pushed down, and it explains that it's a misleading vision. It happens, but it's like the guy trying to protect her, and why not? And she doesn't want to leave, so he kind of like pushes her down and it falls on top of her. The little girl sees that, evolves into a full demon, kills the guy, the samurai guy. Main character comes back, finds the shrine maiden alive, hugs her, and as they are hugging, the little kid evolved into a demon decapitates the shrine maiden and just keeps like holding her head and talking like why, like she doesn't love you, she was like going to marry this other guy, she was going to betray her, and I killed her because like I love you, my brother, and why not. And the guy gets pissed, right? And so like there's like this whole intersection, and then the demon says like in 1,000 years the half demon girl will come back and it's gonna be the end of the world. So the manga is about this dude, which is now an immortal demon, going through the ages until 2010, 2012, where the prophecy would be, fulfilled. The biggest problem is that the jumping time is not really well made because main character doesn't get old. The first characters you meet is an old man and a demon, so like they don't get older. The only thing, like there's like one side story where you see like they him being a bodyguard for a little girl, and then you see her again and she's a teenager, so like 3 5 years passed, and so on and so forth. And that's kind of like the story, how the story is told. Like this dude needing to survive and dealing with demons through 1,000 years, because again he hates demons even though he's a demon. So dealing with exorcists, dealing with other demons, and dealing with the passage of time, only to avoid the apocalypse. So I think it's fantastic. I think it's really nice. Very slow burning, but enjoyable. I think it's the opposite from Haite Kudasai Takamine-san, where it's a good anime when you had a shit day, but you want to distract yourself. So you pay attention to it instead of turning off your brain.
All right, here we are reviewing Suzuka. Hickey. Ooh, stumbled over my words there. Suzuka. The high jumper. Yes. Came out summer 2005 by Studio Comet. What else have they done?
Which doesn't exist anymore?
Think so. Yeah.
Or became something else. No, they became something else.
Okay. What did they come? What did they become?
Oh, they're still kicking. No, they're still kicking. They have a show coming out in summer 2025.
I guess School Rumble's like the most famous thing they've done. An Initial D. I guess that's it.
I don't know, like. I mean, Captain Tsubasa.
Oh, they did Tsubasa?
He did Captain Tsubasa.
I guess it's more famous in Japan for sure.
Yeah.
So I have a question over Suzuka here before I go through the summary and all that. Is this in the same universe as Fuka?
Yes. Fuka is the daughter of main character.
Really?
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is.
Interesting.
Almost. Yeah, her name is Akitsuki Fuka, and the main character
is Yamato Akitsuki.
Yamato.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's his daughter with Suzuka, essentially.
Are you telling me that these two get together in the end and it works out?
It pains me to say, but yes. Hey man, I was in Hashiba camp, dude. Never lost my faith in Hashiba. She's the best girl in this series. That's something from.
Mickey didn't stand a chance. I was really rooting for Hanoka the whole time, but was not meant to be. Not meant to be.
It was, but like,
Yeah,
it could be.
This high jumper chick just had to get in the way, had to meet her first, had to live next to her, had to have all these things work out and come together. Okay, so like I said, Suzuka came out in the summer of 2005. It is a romance drama with some sports elements, is how I'll phrase that. Teenager.
Everything is sports.
I mean, they just happen to do some school sports on the side. Although
track and field, the best.
Major plot points are revolved around the sport being involved. But teenager Yamato has moved from Hiroshima, the countryside, specifically to Tokyo, to begin high school. And he's going to live with his aunt, who runs a public bathhouse and apartment complex. It's a girls-only apartment complex, but he can be there as long as he works at the bathhouse, which hijinks ensue immediately when the show starts, with Yamato and various women. So on his way to meet his aunt, he passes by the local high school, and that's where he sees this chick, Suzuka, high jumping in practice, and he's immediately infatuated with her, basically falls in love with her at first sight, finds her very beautiful, and finds out he's going to live next to her, in which more hijinks happen. We then slowly get introduced to a lot of the people in the apartment complex. Suzuka has a very, I guess, brash attitude towards everything, while Yamato is more free spirited. And over the course of the ensuing beginning episodes, we meet our challenger, which is Honoka, and then later we meet another challenger named Miki Hashiba. And
cannot even consider her a challenger.
yeah, she failed.
She's
She failed
there.
quick.
She didn't even try. She was like, "Wait, you like Suzuka? Damn, man. I thought you
Damn,
were
I'm out.
attractive." But she's there. She's there. She's best girl. No matter whatever you say, she's best girl.
Yeah, and then when we finally
She's
get,
the only actual support character in this fucking anime.
that's
She
true.
gives main character actual good
Advice and goals.
advice. Yes, the rest is a bunch of piece of shit. We're gonna get there.
I did not like the supposed best friend
Anyone.
of Yamato at all, Yasunobu. I did not like this guy.
I didn't like anyone. I like Miki. Miki's cool. Honoka is also cool.
Yeah, this Yasunobu
And
is
the main
a
character. I like the main character. It's a heated opinion. I like Akatsuki. But we're gonna talk about it later.
yeah. So we get into high school. Yasunobu is the like summer friend, and he's finally moved to Tokyo full time. We get into high school, and Yamato is coerced into joining the track team because he ran fast one time. And this
Yeah.
causes more riffraffy rifts between him and Suzuka. Because again, the brash attitude of Suzuka does not like the free-spirited attitude of Yamato, and although they have moments together where Suzuka's slowly starting to fall in love with this guy, but because of her tsundere attitude, she's not adept to accepting that. Only finds faults in Yamato and how he acts. And a lot of the show is based off of that brash attitude, accepting feelings, and Yamato himself being a free spirit that can't take responsibility quite seriously enough to actually be counted upon, kind of deal. And then there's a lot of friend/support characters that either encourage the relationship between him and Suzuka in their own messed up ways, or as we get through the middle episodes of the relationship of Honoka and Yamato, and them actually dating, and the torn heart of Yamato between who he actually likes or being a good boyfriend. Very high school-esque relationship stuff. I could see that kind of rubbing people the wrong way. But here we are.
Yes.
That's my loose summary of what happens throughout the whole show, up until the very end, which I guess we'll go into more depth over later. You said this was a show of rants. What is your first
It
rant,
is.
Hickey?
My first rant is that we need to forget Fuga to talk about Suzuka. Because if we talk about Suzuka with Fuka in mind, we're gonna be very biased against Suzuka because it's from the same guy, right?
Okay. Yep.
And both Fuka the manga and Fuka the TV adaptation are divisive. Let's put it like that. The second thing is the show didn't end. It adapted like 2/3 of the story and left the important part out. So you need to get past that as well, because it's the Olympics arc essentially, which is like fucking the important thing. It's like, oh no, the Olympic is not important, so they just adapted like second year of high school, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Suzuka is a very divisive show because of the main character, right? A lot of people focus on the main character, on Yamato or Akatsuki, and how immature he is. And some people even think the story is really bad because of it, because of how it progresses, because of Suzuka. Suzuka is a bad character, and I agree with that. But all the things I complain about in Suzuka is because I think the story is good. The storytelling, the story writing, the characters, I think they are good. I think it's a well written story. If I didn't think it was a well written story, I wouldn't complain about it. I would just joke about it and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Akitsuki life is one of extreme confusion. And that's something that people, when they talk about Suzuka and they complain especially about Suzuka, they forget about it. We have episodes with Akitsuki in the countryside of Suzuka, where he was born and where he lived.
Yep.
He didn't have any friends his age. We barely see any teenagers or kids in the countryside. So the only experience he has with adults and people, young people, is in Tokyo. So like he goes from being the only kid in town to being in a high school with hundreds of kids. Second, he lives in a girls' dorm where two drunkards keep breaking into his house and he doesn't have a single moment of peace, which is Saotomi Yuka, which is the gal type of girl,
Yep.
and Megumi, which is the quiet, glass wearing girl that when she drinks, she keeps sexually harassing the main
Oh,
character.
dude, she
So
flashes
it's
him
it's
in
really
episode what, 2?
yeah. So it's like put yourself in the shoes of like a 14-year-old kid that has like this 20-year-old just flashing him all the time. Like, it's really hard. Plus, the other one tries to get him drunk, and he drinks alcohol with them from time to time. The only moment of peace he had of silence, where and in school he has like his best friend talking shit to him, uh, well, Hattori, Yasunobu. Uh, the only time he had peace was with his family, with his aunt and cousin. But then Suzuka is there, and she's either sad, she's either pissed, or she's not there, and that affects the main character. He doesn't have a moment of peace. The whole time he's going through his youth without a single moment to reflect on what he's doing. No one gives him good advice. Absolutely no one gives him good advice except Hashiba. Hashiba gives him good advice because she's understanding and she tries her best because she likes him.
Mm-hmm.
First as a love interest, but that falls down really fast. But then as a person, he's fast. She understands he's trying his best in track and field, which is really hard as established on the show. Like you cannot go half-assed on the track and field uh, club because of his love for Suzuka. And she tries really hard to give him good advice and try to guide him. The rest of the characters that try to give him advice, which is Hattori, the playboy uh, best friend, and Saotome, the Gaul, they give him shit advice, and when he fucks up, instead of like being comprehensive and trying to find a middle term to start, telling him what went wrong, they just belittle him like he's a 40-year-old man. And so, like, imagine like this dude. He just moved to the countryside. He's just getting his interactions with people with his age for the first time. He doesn't have a moment of peace inside of his own home. He then decided to uh, get into the track and field club because he's impulsive. It's part of his personality, and like he wants to prove Suzuka wrong because the reason Suzuka doesn't want him on track and field because she knows he likes her, and he's just doing that because he wants to be close to her, and he wants to prove her wrong and show that he can be the best and be fast. So he's super stressed in the club as well. And like you want to say he's a bad character because like the way he treats his first girlfriend, which also didn't have a boyfriend before. Come on, we all went to high school. We know how it is, right? And the reason why the relationship didn't do well wasn't much on Akitsuki. It's because of the shitty advices he got. The advice he got from Saotome is, oh, you just need to wait. You might die an old man waiting for the girl you loved like the first love you had in your life, and that's fine. What kind of fucking advice is that? Like it's the first, like the second episode. They're in the roof out of his balcony, and like she tells her story to him. Like, oh no, like I have like this senpai I liked 3 years ago. Do this in fucking the US using cocaine and fucking prostitutes, but I'm gonna wait for him. That's not a good advice. And then he Akitsuki tries to move on, but can't, and then Saotome complains to him like he's a piece of shit because he's following her advice. And he's not an adult. He doesn't know what to do. No one tells him what to do. And then Hattori, the same thing. And that's a good part about the story. He gets in an actual relationship with Honoka, a childhood friend or childhood summer friend of his. And she's pretty. She's a nice girl, you know. And the good thing about the story and how well it's written is it seems like he can get over Suzuka and start a new relationship, have a nice life with someone that is not Suzuka.
Right.
And it has like this ambiguity to it that is really nice. It something might go well. Even with Hashiba, she's always there. Even she blushes when she talks to Akitsuki, and Akitsuki kind of blushes back, and you have like this ambiguity on intentions and open future that is nice on the story. But the reason why the the relationship between Yamato and Honoka went sour has a lot to do with Hattori. Yes, Hattori sometimes is right. He's like, oh, you're selfish. But he doesn't explain why main character is selfish. If you have a friend and you see your friend doing shit, you pull him to the side and you explain to him. Hattori speaks in fucking parables like he's reading the Bible, dude. And main character is dumb. But everyone knows main character is dumb because it's part of his personality. His impulsive, like impulsive personality. Don't speak in riddles to him. Speak frankly, and that's why, like again, why Hashiba is a good character because she speaks direct, in a direct manner, in the direct speech. You're doing shit. You're doing bad. You did good. Thus, Suzuka likes you more because you did that thing. Keep doing that thing. Hattori doesn't do that. The only time he does speak properly and directly to him is the reason why the relationship between Natsuki and Honoka got rotten. Because the first thing Hattori says is, you didn't have a girlfriend before. You never had a girlfriend. Honoka never had a boyfriend. You motherfuckers even never kissed before. if she goes to your house alone, that means you can push her down and have sex with her. That's the only direct advice he gives, and that dooms the relationship.
Yeah.
And then after
Yeah, that
he
was a
he
big
goes like,
turning
"Oh,
point.
I told you, yeah. Oh, I told you you're being selfish. I told you that." Like you never told him that. Like saying, "Oh, you know." Main character is like, "Oh man, what should I do?" And then Hatori just goes, "Oh, it's better. It's easier for a camel to go through a a needle hole than a rich man ascend to heaven." What does this happen to main character? It doesn't. And then instead of being comprehensive with his friend and whatnot, he just keeps hitting on him. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. If you did that, you're a nice girl. You're a piece of shit. What do you think is gonna happen to a guy whose life is just stress? And then he goes home, and then a fucking alcoholic woman broke into his house, and then he says, "Well, I'm kind of sad because this happened," and she just straight up beat the shit out of him. And then he goes to eat with his family, and Suzuka is not there. Or they're asking about Honoka, and he gets depressed. And like, you want to say he's a bad character because everyone around him is a piece of shit? Or the story is bad, like it's not well written because of that? That's not the point. Like, that's not the reason. The reason is like Suzuka is really bad character because she keeps self-sabotaging her. There's a point where she's not a tsundere, right?
Oh yeah,
It's
she
not a
she
point of
uh
like,
she graduates from that what would I say?
like at some point
Halfway
she's
through the
like,
show?
she's straight up, look at him, listen to him, think about what she wants to say. Says, yeah, I want to be nice to him. And then she thinks again and goes like, you're a piece of shit.
Mhm.
And the dude gets pissed. And she's like, oh my god, why he's pissed at me? It's like, it's straight up like the comment I keep posting of the guy walking on the bike and putting like the piece of wood in the front on the front wheel and
Yeah, the
falling.
front wheel and just flips
That is
over, yeah.
that is like after episode 8. That is just Suzuka. 8 of 26. That is just Suzuka the whole time. The guy doesn't have a light in his life. The light in his life was Honoka, and he fucked up because of his personality, yes. Because of the way he acted, yes. But also because he didn't have a single good advice the whole show. It is impressive how this pisses me off. What is your thoughts about my rant?
Yeah, that was a long one. You basically kind of summed up the entire show there. Besides the very end and how everything kind of comes together. Uh,
Which pisses me off again as well because I don't like Suzuka. So
I thought that she was going to. So I saw kind of where they were going with the ex-boyfriend aspect of it all. Uh, Big spoiler here is the ex-boyfriend is dead, and she kind
not
of
even boyfriend. It's just a dude who confessed to her.
yeah, they never actually dated.
No.
Regardless, she never got over his death per se. They don't like address any of that until the very end, which is the whole turning point conclusion of Suzuka. The problem is throughout the entire show, she never has like any like redeeming qualities about herself other than she works hard at track and field, which you're like, okay, you work hard at this one thing. I get that. However, how about all the other aspects of your life? In the first episode, our main character fucking saves her from dehydration in a sauna, and instead of thanking him, she's like, "Ugh, I can't believe you broke the door down, you dumbass." And it's that attitude that never goes away the entire show. And I'm like, I don't understand how this guy could even like her anymore. Yes, like, as you
right?
said, he
Especially he has Honoka. Honoka's like,
right, and there's some bad moments in there, and between him and Honoka, and they have kind of real life relationship conspiracy theories with each other, and uh, jealousy that is warranted. Honoka really does see that he actually likes Suzuka instead of her, which causes rift and issues. But if uh, there was any shred of good advice given to Yamato at any point in the show, it would have been something along the line of, okay, look, make a decision. Either date Honoka or break up with her. Stop putzing around and go after Suzuka, which he eventually does anyways, and he gets turned down. So then, like what I said earlier, there should have just been a point, with the way this was written, there should have just been a point where he does truly give up on Suzuka because she is not a like very nice person to him.
yeah. It's
And
like
she
a
turned him
problem
down.
where
So I'm like,
everyone's saying like, dude, Suzuka likes you, and he goes through all those things. His journey through the youth,
but even if that's
and
true, if
you know,
she
and then he goes like he breaks up with Honoka, and again, it's a really important point in everyone's life, getting a broken heart. At least I believe that. And he's like, okay, I broke up with her. Uh, Suzuka will think that it's because of her, so I'm gonna be nice and I'm gonna try to give up on her and say I discarded Honoka and it's because I'm a piece of shit. And the first thing Honoka does is not like think something is wrong or fishy. She's just like, I knew you were a piece of shit, dude. Like that's not it, right?
a lot of people call Yamato like junk a lot in the show, and I'm like, he's not a bad guy. Like, I don't
But
understand where they get this
it's
idea from.
that's why I told you that. Like his life is really like it's a life I wouldn't like. Like I wouldn't have if it was offered to me. He doesn't have a moment of peace. Everyone just complains at him and says he's a bad person. He doesn't give a single advice. He's not safe even inside of his own home because two drunkards keep broken in to say he's a bad person and try
Yeah,
to
at
give
one
him like
point I was thinking to myself, shit, why doesn't he just go out with the glasses college chick?
yeah, right. Because like he doesn't have a moment of peace. He doesn't have a moment to think and reflect about everything that is happening because he just sleeps. He wakes up early. He goes to track and field. He studies. He goes home. He drinks. He eats with his family because and then Suzuka is there or Suzuka is not there, and so people comment why Suzuka is there or why Suzuka is not there. Then he goes to his apartment and there's like the two on his sons inside there drinking and saying he's a bad person.
Yeah,
And
and
then
and
they go
also he
away
has to
and then
work
he
at
sleeps.
the bathhouse in
The
between all
bathhouse.
this.
So he doesn't have a single moment where he sits down and there is a moment of silence where he can think about his life.
Yeah,
That's why
he's very
he
busy.
needs to move. Yeah, he needs to move on instinct. And so like yeah, like it's unfortunate. What again? I think the most unfortunate thing that happens is the Honoka relationship because again, it's such a well written relationship. It leaves uh, an open end to it, an ambiguity that he might end with Honoka. You know, because of how it is, and he shows signs of getting over Suzuka, and Honoka doesn't give up as well after the breakup. He's
Right.
like, oh, he said like, oh, okay, like there's signs there. He said, oh, when we were talking, I was the prettiest woman in the world, and why not? So there's signs that I can still have a chance. And then like after everything is resolved, Suzuka knows that they didn't break like he didn't break up and told her she was a pain and why not. So everything is resolved. He's actually a nice guy who's thinking about her. And he's like, hey, everything is resolved. I like you. And like this is a nice resolution to everything. We can
Mm-hmm.
go together because I like you. I know you like me. Everyone says that you like me. You know that I'm not a piece of shit. You know that I'm really trying my hard on track and field. We surpassed the thing about uh the guy who died. Even though he said like I'm not this guy. Stop trying to replace him with me. We passed all of that. You gonna go out? No, you're a fucking retarded motherfucker. It's like, dude, why you do that?
Right. So then
Like
obviously
that's
that's
like
when
I'm
Miki
talking like
Hashiba should have
episode
came in and be like,
24.
all right, that's it. I'm taking him.
Yeah, like I'm talking episode 24. It's not like episode 12, episode
Right.
15. It's episode 24. Like everything is resolved, and then you say like you reject him, and like the dude is like, everyone is saying you like me, and they come here and they reject me,
After
and
everything they've
then you have
been
like
through as well.
after everything, the countryside confess. Like he confesses to her like 5 times, 6 times,
Oh yeah. And she
and
turns him
every
down
time.
every time.
But it's not only turning down. Like it's like the thing that would have broke my soul every like every time he
Yes.
gets rejected,
It's
it
brutal.
would be the kind of rejection like that would break my soul, dude. I'm like, okay, okay, like I'm not going back to school tomorrow. Like I don't care.
Oh,
Like I'm gonna
well,
take
maybe not
I'm gonna
that
take like
dramatic, but
two.
it certainly would have been
No, like
it certainly would have been
some of
I am
those.
not going to try with this girl anymore. She's not worth it.
Now some of those are bad. Like at least two of those are really bad.
That's what I'm saying. It
The
would have
and like
been convincing
one of
enough
them
to say no,
he
this girl's not worth my efforts.
yeah. And then like she gets sad. I was like, oh my god. Like that's the part that pisses me off. Like her getting sad. Like, oh what I did, and she never tries to fix.
Oh,
And
she's an incredibly
people keep
selfish
saying
character on top of it all, which makes
yeah.
her even more unlikable.
And then main character gets all the hate
Right.
from everyone. Except Hashiba. Because again, Hashiba is a good character. But everyone. Because he's wrong. He's like, how can he be more correct than he is? It's a really hard watch because of the supporting cast and Suzuka. But Honoka and Hashiba kind of saves it. And again, the true and real nature of relationships of the show.
Well, it's kind of like what I was saying with the uh, Can a Boy and Girl Survive part. What they did in the early episodes leading up to blue-haired chick's kind of moment of freak out. That's what that's what Suzuka needed to do, like in episode 9. At that point,
Hmm.
you know, uh, at her first or second time of true jealousy that she does like Yamato, they needed to do the turning point in the story for Suzuka and her character way earlier than save it all to the end with a very rushed kind of doesn't make sense moment. With it's all based off of this dude who died years ago, her idol, like dude, her idolized guy, and so I'm like, again, all I keep thinking about is after all these circumstances, why would that one thing change? Why would that thing change her mind when she kind of was more or less over it to an extent way earlier, and now it's like no, because other people have now told me to get over it, girl. That you can do. I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't like the Suzuka development at all. It just really got me geared towards Yamato should be with anyone other than her.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought the guy got screwed the whole show, and it kind of sucked. Um,
Yeah, that's really hard.
if it wasn't for the relationship with Honoka and how that was written and how that progressed in all aspects, even leading to their breakup and I think there should have been like a second relationship in between there. Like even if it was like a short fling or something, to really like get the Suzuka character over to an extent of where her feelings are finally resolved. But they never did that. They just kind of extended the Honoka thing and didn't really go into any of the other possible girls, or hell, even someone else approaching Suzuka to kind of get her over with. What was that? There was a romance show I watched recently where they almost did. Was it? It was. I mean, well, it's not nearly as good as Suzuka, but it's like Tomo-chan is a girl, where they introduce like a fourth character that's actually going after Tomo, and the problem is they didn't really go into that guy at all. So I'm like, okay, but the idea of introducing that character was good. So could there have been another guy, like maybe Yasunobu? I thought they'd do a little bit more with him in that regard, but he was very just like, oh, well, I can have all the other girls. I guess you can have that one chick that isn't very nice. Maybe they could have done something. Yeah, maybe having something with Yasunobu being revealed as the kind of ladies' man that actually isn't a good guy. Kind of, I thought that's what they were going to go for a lot more. He isn't like that, but he is a pretty. He is a two-timer to Yamato like the whole time.
Yeah, or maybe just a secondary relationship between secondary characters. Would be nice.
Yeah. I think that does it for Suzuka. So the ending is
Suzuka gets over the death of Mr. Tsuda Kazuki.
yeah. So
He's
that's
like,
actually
"Oh,
the
I'm
last
sorry,
3 episodes.
I'm sorry, I cannot go out with you because there's something someone I like." And Akisu's like, "Finally, I have been vindicated." He-
Yeah, they just
and
take
there's
3 fucking
a
episodes to go through all this. And I'm like, this isn't good. So I think the ending really let me down a lot.
yeah, because it ends on the downturn of the manga, right? Before it ramps up to them going through third year of high school, then college, and the Olympics. So it kind of like gets over the romance and goes into the sports time, like sports heavy
Yeah.
stuff. So it's the downtime. It's literally the downtime. It's not the ending.
Yeah, well, I certainly don't need to see it, and I don't want to read it either coming out of this. Because that just sounds... All I can picture it in my head, where Suzuka is still a selfish person. Yamato's doing his best to be a good boyfriend, like he would be, and nothing
Yes,
is ever good enough for this
but
chick.
but Suzuka moves to the United States as well.
Oh, cool. So she also leaves him. Awesome. What a great girl. After all that, she ends up leaving.
So like Aksuki gives up on track and field again, starts to work, and then Emerson, the blonde dude, just comes back and be like, "Stop being a bitch. I want you in the Olympics. I want to win against you in the Olympics." And Akatsuki's like, "Ah, shit. I'll try again then." And then
See,
he goes, he qualifies, and it's nice. It's a nice. It's more dramatic than romance, but it's a nice ending, I
yeah, but I'm
think.
not watching Suzuka for the sports. I think if I would have liked this a lot more if Akutsuki Yamato was not in the track and field. Uh,
Mm.
if he had a different motivation, or something else going on at school that was separated from track and field, how the story would have developed differently. I guess Fuka, that show kind of had a weird aspect of it too. It's supposed to be centered around music and all this, but it kind of feels like it's forced in a backdrop to it all and not written very well. And it's like, is this show going to be about romance or is it going to be about sports? Like, yeah, a secondary relationship, less about Yamato's aspect of track and field. Suzuka, that's like that's the basis of her character, is being the high jumper, basically.
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to score it.
All right. And the score is?
And the score is, well, what did I score Lovely Complex? Because I asked you that at the very beginning.
7.
Because I asked you that at the
7.
very beginning. Yeah, I
Yes.
scored it a 7.
Now, I think it's 7 as well.
I think it's the same score.
For different reasons.
For very different reasons. I needed more conflict in where Lovely Complex was good, Suzuka was not. And then where Suzuka was good, Lovely Complex was not. So they're
7.
Yeah, they're the same show with different flaws and good in different ways. Which I'm kind of surprised about, because I thought with the beginning of Suzuka, we were going to head in completely different directions. And we ultimately got to that point, but the execution was severely lacking, where I needed to be to buy into the story more.
Mm-hmm.
I think if this wasn't for...
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think if that wasn't for the podcast review part, that Suzuka and Lovely Complex might have been flirting with kind of 6 out of 10 ranges, but I think they're a little better than that still. Because I've seen some 5 and 6 out of 10 romance shows in the last 8 months.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it definitely has a lot of flaws, which is unfortunate because I still think it's a well-written story. It could have, and like it's easy to correct the flaws Suzuka have,
Right.
but it would change the story completely. So I don't know how it would happen. And
I have
if
an
we
idea.
look at Fuka,
You ready for this?
Fuka might be a way of correcting a lot of problems Suzuka had.
Yeah, maybe.
And it turned out to be the way it turned out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Both the manga and the anime, because they are different, very different.
You know what? This came to my mind. If you traded places with Risa from Lovely Complex and Suzuka from, well, Suzuka, if they just traded places in the stories, I think that would have worked better.
But Lovely Complex would be just like no lovely, just complex.
Right. It's just complex. Well, think about it. Then it could have been a sports show with romance in the background, because what's his face was the basketball player with issues, and Suzuka's the future Olympic high jumper deal, and then Risa has like no hobbies other than listening to the Omibozu records, and she would be more free spirited in a match for our boy Yamato here.
Yeah, true. Oh, I mean, yeah.
There you go.
But that's why she's also a good pair to Otani, because he's
Otani,
also
that's his
very
name,
free
yeah.
spirit.
I mean, ultimately, Lovely Complex did work out in the end, and I felt better about that compared to Yamato getting with greedy, selfish girl.
Yeah, because like you have like Otani has his times of brilliance. Suzuka don't. Suzuka is just uh, all the way through.
If Suzuka was a better like person and character that actually had some resolve and good qualities about her, do you think this story could have been in that upper tier 8-9 area?
Yes,
Yeah, I think so too.
I think if the reactions and thought process of Suzuka would be better, and then if a character would belittle her and complain about her as much as they do with the main character, Hashiba could do that,
Mm,
or even Honoka. Honoka does that at the end, right?
yeah.
Where she's like, "You stealing the man I like, and you gonna act like you don't give a shit about it?
Uh-huh.
Get the fuck out of here.
Damn right.
Like, stop that fucking retarded stuff. Go and be with him. I'm gonna get pissed. I'm already pissed. You know? She really tells her that. And Suzuka is completely shocked. So if someone would do that the way they do with the main character, I think also would be better. It would give her like second thoughts about many things. The problem is like, no, Suzuka is Suzuka, and everyone treats her as Suzuka the Suzuka, and you're a piece of shit.
How dare you question how great this girl is? I was like, she's not great. I don't like her. No one does.
Yeah, like she's not great. It's like, no, it doesn't matter if she's not great or not. What matters is that she's Suzuka. Her name is the title of
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah, she's so
So
selfish, she took the name of the show.
so if there was at least one character to call her on her bullshit, I think the show would be better. You
Yeah.
don't need to change Suzuka. You just need a character to call her on her bullshit every time she's bullshitting. I think it would
We
be
definitely
better.
had that in Lovely Complex. We had all the side characters going, fucking, we know what your deals are. Figure it out.
Yeah, and for both sides,
Yeah.
here it's just the guy, and sometimes it's not his bullshit. It's just that no one gives him good advice, so he doesn't know what to do. Like you don't know what to do, and the guy's like, "Stop with this bullshit." It's like, what bullshit? I am confused, dude. I need someone to take my hand and guide me through the way. No one does that, and no one complains about Suzuka being Suzuka. So it really gets the story a little bit
Yeah.
rotten, spoiled, in a sense. So yeah, if they that minimal change and keeping the rest of the story okay, the way it was, I think would be at least an 8.
All
Just
right.
someone calling Suzuka on her bullshit. Would be-
So that does it for this episode. The next one is going to be over Great Teacher Onizuka. I think that's it's going to be a big one there. I'm excited for that.
That's gonna be long. I should prepare myself.
Yeah, that's for sure. For sure. Okay. Uh Hickey, see you next time, man.
Yeah, see you. Peace, peace.